Today's class lesson will involve review of last night's homework on troublesome verbs, a little review, do now worksheet on correct tenses, and then we'll go over active and passive voice. Let's begin with a prayer in the name of the Father, and of the Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. So the first thing we'll go over is just the verbs, troublesome verbs for lie and lay, sit and set, rise and raise. And we want to remember one thing when it comes to our troublesome verbs, okay, is that whenever we use any form of lie, sit, or rise, there'll be no dio. Okay, and if we use any form of lay, set, or raise, there'll always be a dio. Okay. Now remember that the past of lie is lay. So that you have to remember in number one. Okay. So the past that we want to say it lied on the desk, but clearly a letter can't tell the truth or not tell the truth, so it lay on the desk. Okay? And then the past participle form of a lie is lain. So that's why number 5 is lain. And then just be sure you know that number 10, you don't want to say as soon as he lied down. You want to say as soon as he lay down. Okay, so those are some of the answers to last night's homework. If you have a question on any of these verbs, by all means, you can email me. I'll be more than happy to go over any question. So today's Do Now worksheet is going to be titled Correct Use of Tenses, and it's Correct Use of Tenses A. So if you want to take a moment and download that into Notability. And it's just going to be our 6 basic tenses: the present tense, the past, the future, and then the present perfect, the past perfect, and the future perfect. And I'm sure as you read each one of these, you're going to be able to see which tense is the correct one. And what we want to do on the side here is just figure out what tense it is. So let's see. For number 1, be sure you have put. Okay. And if we have 2 verbs, that means it's going to be a perfect tense. Have is in the present tense. So this is going to be present perfect. So please be sure you've put the lid on the blender before turning it on. For number 2, by next Thursday, Aretha will have finished all the exams of her first semester of college. So will, that indicates future. Okay. Since we have, that's going to be future perfect. Okay, for 3. Last night, the toddler had drawn, this is in the past, at least 7 pictures by the time the babysitter said it was time for bed. So had drawn 2 verbs. So had is in the past. So it's going to be past perfect. For 4, you may not know it, but the swim team trains harder than usual for the team for the meet they won yesterday. We trains is present, so you want to put had been training. All right, and that is going to be the past because we have had. All right, and that's going to be perfect, and that's going to be progressive because it ends in ing. Right, they had been training harder. For number 5, because their star athlete just went in the penalty box, the hockey team will play one person short until he can return to the ice. So we're going to say it's going to happen in the future, so it's going to be will play. For 6, do you know that Jeremy Moses still has been or is the tallest of the 4 brothers? We're going to go with is. Okay. Because it's happening now, and that's going to be simple. It's going to be present. For 7, because Stella had outgrown her favorite pair of shoes, she, I'm going to say, gave them to a younger sister. Gave is just the past. For 8, my cousin, I'm going to say, we have collects or has been collecting. My cousin collects or has been collecting family photos ever since the reunion. And we're going to say has been collecting. So has, that's going to be present. Okay. Then we're going to say it's perfect. And because it ends in ing, it's progressive. For 9, what will have been or was your favorite scene in the movie last night? We're going to say, since we already saw it, we're going to go was. That's simply the past. And the last one, number 10, sometimes I accidentally do call or will call the twins by the wrong name. So we're going to say will call, and that's going to be the future. Okay, so those are the answers for the Do Now worksheet. If you have any questions on those, by all means, feel free to email me. And the bulk of today's lesson is going to deal with active and passive voice. Okay, so active voice is when the subject, this is when a verb expresses action performed by its subject. In other words, and this is what we want to put down here for our notes, what we want to fill in, the subject does the action. Okay? So active voice, the subject does the action. All right. But in passive voice, the action, it's when the action a verb expresses is performed on its subject. And the way you could spot passive voice verb, passive verbs are formed by putting a form of be with the past participle. Okay? So passive voice verbs, the action is performed upon the subject. You're always going to see a form of be in the past participle. All right, active voice, the subject is doing the action. So let's see if we can do a couple of these verbs. All right, so we're going to use find. All right, let's put it in the past. Laura found a gold bracelet. Okay, so found's our verb. Laura's our subject. This is active voice. Okay. Now, any active voice we can put in passive voice, and any passive voice we can put in active. So if we want to make this, take this active sentence and make it passive, we could say a gold bracelet was found by Laura. So that's going to be passive. It's got a form of be and the past participle. All right, see if you can do the next two on your own. So for the first one, the president, we're going to say, signed the bill. All right, signed is our verb, president is our subject. So this is going to be active voice. All right, and then we're going to say opened. The gift, I wouldn't say the gift opened by Jenny, you'd say the gift was opened by Jenny. Gift is our subject. So that's going to be passive. Okay. Now the last two, I can take the first one and make it active, make it passive. And then the second one, I can make active. So I could say the bill was signed by the president. Okay, was signed is our verb. Bill's our subject. Okay, the bill can't do the action, so this is going to be passive voice. And then for the other one, I could say Jenny opened the gift. Opened is our verb. All right. What's our subject? That's going to be Jenny. Is she doing the action? She is. So that's active voice. Okay, so active voice, just a quick review. Active voice is when the subject is doing the action. Okay, it's got to be a real person, a thing doing the action. Whereas passive voice, the action is performed upon the subject. Okay, and you can always spot passive voice because it's going to be a form of be with the past participle. If you have any questions on today's lesson, by all means, feel free to email me. In Schoology is the homework for tonight, and there's a take-home quiz that we'll go over in tomorrow's lesson, which is on principal parts of verbs and choosing the correct past or past participle. Have a great day, everybody.